The Edge. The prison sat on the peak of a forgotten mountain, surrounded by endless white snowfields and jagged cliffs that dropped thousands of feet. Known only as The Edge, it was the final stop for the worst of humanity. A place where walls were unnecessary. If you stepped wrong, if you lost your grip on sanity, you would plummet to your death, your body swallowed by the abyss below, never to be found. There was no escape. The snow-covered ground extended as far as the eye could see, and the frigid winds lashed endlessly at the skin, making even the thought of escape seem futile. The cold was a constant enemy, biting into bones, sapping strength and hope, all while the ever-present threat of falling kept prisoners teetering on the edge of madness. Every prisoner was given a narrow platform to stand on, just wide enough to balance on. No walls protected them, just a thin rail of ice that circled each small area, more a cruel reminder of how close they were to the drop than an actual safety measure. Inmates weren't shackled. They didn't need to be. The only thing between them and freedom was a step into the void. By night, temperatures dropped so low that breathing felt like inhaling shards of glass. The snowstorms became so thick you couldn't see more than a foot ahead, blinding and suffocating at once. Those who strayed too far from their posts vanished into the storm, never heard from again, their screams carried off by the wind. But it wasn't just the cold or the cliffs that made the edge terrifying. Something moved in the storm. At first, prisoners dismissed the whispers as the wind. Then, one by one, they started to go mad, babbling about eyes watching them from the darkness, about shadows that moved too quickly, too silently. There were rumors of figures stalking the ledges at night, dark silhouettes that stood motionless in the distance, just at the edge of vision, before slipping away into the white void. Some said it was the ghosts of prisoners who had fallen, cursed to wander the mountain forever. Others claimed it was something much worse, something ancient that had always lived here, waiting for the prison to bring it fresh victims. The guards never confirmed the rumors, but they were always armed and nervous, scanning the snow with haunted eyes. They never left the main tower after dusk. One inmate, a man named Collier, had been convicted of unspeakable crimes. He laughed when they sent him here, declaring that no prison could hold him. For weeks, he boasted about his escape plans, insisting that he would find a way off the mountain. Then one night, he vanished from his post. In the morning, they found his body half buried in the snow, not at the base of the cliffs, but just feet from where he had stood, his face frozen in a mask of terror, as though something had dragged him back before he could jump. After Collier, the whispers grew louder. More prisoners started to see the figures, shapeless forms that hovered at the edges of the mountain, eyes gleaming from beneath the shadows. Some swore they heard voices calling their names, coaxing them closer to the cliffs, tempting them to fall. The final straw came when a group of prisoners tried to escape. They waited for a night when the storm was at its worst, hoping to use the whiteout to cover their tracks. They never returned. The next morning, their footprints ended abruptly at the cliff's edge, but there were no signs of a struggle, no bodies at the bottom, only strange, twisted impressions in the snow, like something had crawled up from the void to meet them. Now, no one speaks of escape. The prisoners huddle closer to their posts, eyes wide with fear, as the snow falls heavier and the wind howls louder. The figures are closer now, watching, waiting. The edge is not a prison you can escape. It is a prison you can only hope to survive. For a little longer,